and I am here with Benjamin Day, and this is the Medicare for All podcast, the podcast for everyone who needs healthcare, but especially people in Texas who need healthcare. How you doing today, Ben?
I'm doing pretty good.
That's great. I should warn folks that I'm coming live today from the Texas Democratic Convention, which is actually here in my hometown of Corpus Christi, Texas. Unfortunately, I failed to reserve a podcasting booth, so I'm actually coming to you right now from outside the ladies' room. And we're having a technical difficulty, so I think this is probably, it's like starting off to be our most professional episode yet.
Yeah, we have a tremendous audio lag, which is really fun. And you were outside the bathroom. I feel like there's some symbolic metaphors at work here, like maybe the DNC has been lagging behind Medicare for All for years. Maybe it's fallen into the toilet on multiple occasions. I don't, somebody else can work out this joke appropriately, but bear with us as we work through these challenges.
Audience, you get on it. Get on it, audience. Make your own jokes for this episode. So I am pretty psyched to be here, I have to say. But it is incredibly hot, which is why my face is the color of borscht. And it is quite a convention. There are tons of people here, and it's pretty wild, Ben. I wish you were here.
More air conditioning, fewer centrist Democrats.
Oh man, if I had a private podcasting booth, I could talk more loudly about that. So here we are in Texas.
I do have some questions for you, and because of lag, I'll probably just ask them, let you fully finish, and then maybe I'll jump in afterwards. But why suddenly do people care about Texas, Julian? And why is the convention there even?
Well, I don't really know why people care about Texas. This is the Texas Democrat State Convention. So obviously it is in Texas, but it is in Corpus Christi this year. I'm not sure why, but maybe it's because we are ground zero for so many fucked up things like running out of water and having a port that's a problem, and there's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff going on down here. So it's actually really good to have the Democratic Party focused on our little part of what we call the coastal bend here. So it's nice to have folks down here. It is, did I mention how hot it is? It's very hot.
Yeah.
So the reason that this convention is actually pretty big this year, and one of the reasons is because the DNC is really nervous right now. You might have noticed that by the way they panic when Mamdani's DSA candidates win in New York or whatever. So they are freaking out right now. They're a little bit worried about a bunch of their other races across the country. And so now they have decided that they are going to put all their eggs in the Texas basket. And so we've actually got some kind of big star power here, Ben.
Okay. I don't know. My own cynical view is usually the DNC, they get really concerned about losing the Senate, but then they do everything in their power to lose the Senate, probably by undermining any of their progressive candidates that need to win for them to take control of the Senate, such as our comrades in Maine. But
No. I mean, I think, Texas folks are built different. I think we have to acknowledge that, right? The DNC is one thing, but Texas is a whole other thing. And people down here are fired the fuck up and ready to go.
Tell me more about it. So tell me about the Senate campaign. I know James Tallarico is running for the Democrats. What's the story there? How does that intersect with Medicare for All and healthcare fights?
Yeah, well, unfortunately, not in the ways I would like. So, Tallarico is, folks who have been following the race might know that he was in the primary against Jasmine Crockett, who is kind of DC firebrand, Medicare for All supporter, but he ended up beating her out. His whole deal is that he has this kind of uh, he's very Christian. He's a minister, and he is kind of quiet. Actually, he's like gentle. He's a reasonable, gentle person who is like soft spoken, whatever. He's really cool. I really like him, and I really think he's a good guy too. I think he genuinely cares about the stuff he cares about, and like believes that Jesus wants him to care about it too. So that's cool. But he unfortunately is not a Medicare for all guy yet, Ben.
Oh man, well that's unfortunate. I mean, as with a lot of these Democrats, we have to drag them kicking and screaming. I find especially new Democrats in difficult districts or states, the fucking DNC advisors get in there with their focus groups and do their work on them, but often we will catch them later. I will remind people that we actually had this same fight with Elizabeth Warren. When she first ran for Senate, she refused to support Medicare for all.
That's right.
I dedicated like a whole year of my life to trying to get her on her first campaign, but it was the same thing. She had all these consultants who were like, don't go too far, don't be branded as a progressive. Go right down the middle of the road, get your talking points, and just refuse to answer some awkward questions about well, if you support universal health care but you don't support any policy that would actually implement it, what does that mean? But we obviously got her later when she was a little bit more secure in her position. So don't give up on this guy. But yeah,
I'm not giving up on him because I really do think he's great. I like his whole shtick. It's really good. It's not a shtick. I mean, I think that's what's good about it, right? Is that he legitimately seems sincere, and I'll believe that until I see evidence otherwise. But his healthcare plan is something that's going to piss you off, Ben. I'm going to tell you about it anyway. So James Tallarico's plan is a public option plan. And I will stop talking in a moment so you can rant about the public option and why that's terrible. It's not a great idea. No spoilers, but we hate the public option. But he calls it Medicare for y'all. Which is,
if you can afford it.
Medicare for y'all is such a cute name, and at Healthcare Now, we have been using that. I have T-shirts for sale on Redbubble that you can buy. It is a little bit sad to me that he's co-opting our Medicare for y'all.
Yeah, I don't remember which state it was, but we had a southern state, and the Medicare for All chapter in the state was called like the Medicare for All y'all chapter. So yeah, we literally invented this slogan. It's ours. You're not allowed to steal it. But I think public option, that's very cutting edge 2010 stuff. So I'm sure this will move us all to tears.
It's sadly coming back. Can I press upon you to do the 30-second version of why friends don't let friends support the public option?
Well, look, I mean, a public option, it probably wouldn't be a bad thing. It's basically like you let the government sell health plans, and the government is less wasteful than private insurance companies, and they don't pay their executives that much money, and they don't send your premium dollars off to investors in the form of profits. So it would be slightly less expensive, possibly, than a public plan. But it wouldn't solve the underlying problem, which is that you still have to pay a fortune for the plan. I mean, I think at its very best, the public option would be like a very, very slightly cheaper plan. But it also means that the public option, which would be the government, would have to decide whether to be despicable and immoral in how it operates its plan, like private insurance companies are. Or it might lose out. It might not be able to compete with private insurance. So remember what private insurance does to save money, right? They deny as many coverage claims as they possibly can to save money.
Mm-hmm.
And again, if the public option chooses not to be evil and not to deny all your coverage claims, it's going to cost them money, and they're going to be more expensive, and they're not going to be able to compete anymore with the private industry. So it has some structural problems involved with it. And obviously, the real problem with the multiplayer system, which is not a very sexy thing to talk about, is just that it drives up costs across the whole system because there's so many payers. So hospitals have to spend just insane percentage of all their healthcare dollars dealing with insurance companies, dealing with like 5 million different health plans in different forms and stuff. And it would do nothing. It would actually make it slightly worse by adding one more insurance company to the mix. So anyway, I think it's mostly harmless. I don't fight against it like it's the end of the world or it's going to ruin things, but it really is going to have very little to possibly no impact in the real world. And back when this was a proposal for the Obamacare, I remember the Congressional Research Service or someone like that. I can't remember who it was. It was like one of these big independent congressionally tied research companies. It actually estimated what would happen if a public option was included. And the answer was very, very little. It would not increase coverage by much. It would not reduce costs by very much. It would be very underwhelming, but very slightly positive, I'd say. So there's your public option spiel. But
I mean, ultimately, though, right, it is just another excuse to keep the private insurers in the game, right? To, keep taking those, big healthcare lobbyist dollars and not piss them off too much. And it's also a distraction from an actual solution that we have, right? I mean, I'm not going to sit here and try to get real excited about the public option when I'm already really excited about Medicare for all,
Yeah. And don't forget, some states have already tried a public option and got a big fat nothing out of it. So
boom, that's important too. That is very important. Yeah. It's so bad though, because this is always the moment when Democrats get scared, right? And they get scared and they start doing crazy, stupid, compromisey shit. I don't know who they think they're compromising with. I think it's themselves. I don't know. They're like, it's terrible. So yeah, we're getting all sorts of people, kind of bubbling up, talking about like the public option or some other stupid scheme or whatever. It's like, guys, the majority of Americans support Medicare for all. Let's do it.
Yeah, and it's clear evidence that they've run out of ideas to substitute for Medicare for all, because all that's left is really recycling a couple of old ideas. It's sort of like, Republicans don't even have a health plan anymore because they literally, there's no pro-market thing you can do that would solve this mess, and they can't even pretend that there is. And I think the same thing is happening within the Democratic Party among folks who do not want Medicare for all. It's like we've run out of seeming options. I mean, it was kind of fun when it was a new idea, and it was like, ooh, this is a new idea. Maybe it could work. But then when it gets tried out in the real world and there's more research done, you kind of quickly find out that it leads to nothing. So,
yeah. Well, so Tallarico, not yet. I mean, it does kind of like bring up this question that we're always sort of thinking about, which is like I like this Tallarico guy. Maybe I'll vote for him. Probably I'll vote for him. I'll definitely vote for him. His opponent is Ken Paxton. He's like the most corrupt politician in the country. But it's like, how do you talk to your friends, right? Like, how do you talk to people you genuinely like and think are genuinely well-minded about things like the public option, right? It's like, in some ways, it's like a sticky little political, wonky policy point. But in other ways, it's like, it really does pose a lot of kind of organizing challenges that are really counterproductive to our movement, Yeah.
This is what happens when Democratic consultants get a hold of candidates. It's like, you have nothing exciting to fight for left, but they have tried to strategically position them so that they won't offend anyone, So Jillian, aside from Tallarico, give us a vibe check from the convention itself. How are things looking there?
Folks are really jazzed. I know I keep on teasing the star power from this convention, and you are not biting because you have no interest in our lefty superstars. You have no interest. But I do, and I'm going to tell everyone about it. So Bernie Sanders is the
Okay.
keynote
All
speaker.
right. Okay, that goes away in long ways.
It does, right? Who would have
Mhm.
thought that Bernie would come to my hometown, Ben, my little old
Mhm.
hometown where we're running out of water?
Astroturf.
Right. So that's a metaphor for the DNC too. I'm not sure. So Bernie Sanders is going to be a keynote speaker. Cory Booker is here. JB Pritzker is here,
Mhm.
and a bunch of folks. So they're bringing out all of their heavy hitters. So that's pretty exciting.
Well, Vermont has plenty of water. Maybe you could sign a treaty.
Fascinating. Fascinating. Yeah. Yeah.
Brisket or water, something like that.
Brisket for water. Oh man, they would love the brisket. Bernie would love the brisket. Okay. Yeah. So anyway, kind of excited for that. And really people around the convention are really excited. And honestly, even though Tallarico might not be on board yet, I have been like meeting people left and right who are like totally into it. So like I've got Diana Luna here. She's running for House District 71. She came by, talked to me a lot about her public health experience and why she believes in Medicare for all, because she knows the inner workings of the healthcare system. In fact, a lot of the folks who I've been talking to today have been folks who are working in healthcare. So we got a lot of nurses here, a lot of retired nurses here, and a lot of grandmoms who are concerned about their granddaughters who are nurses here.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, this is I have not had a lot of experience with like DNC style convention meetings, but I will give you a quick anecdote before. I think we want to end this one quickly so you can get to a cool place with air conditioning.
I've started to kind of cool down a little bit. Okay. Is it showing yet?
Yeah, no, you look fine. You look good. No. I just worry for your comfort and all the ladies coming out of the bathroom right next to you as well. But we did have one really memorable experience. The 2016 Democratic National Convention. This was like right on the heels of the big Bernie campaign where he lost to Hillary Clinton, but it was a close thing, and it became there was like just a massive national surge of support for Medicare for all. And as you know, when this happens, there's usually like a bit of a negotiation that goes on between the two campaign camps where the losing camp, which in this case was Bernie, tries to like extract some concessions from the leading candidate.
A promise, right?
Exactly. So, and actually, my memory at back at the time, and that compromise is embedded into the platform for that year, the Democratic platform.
Right.
And my memory is that the Clinton camp actually conceded quite a lot to Bernie. He had a bunch of like, we would like to have this issue and this issue and this issue agreed between us in the platform. And they agreed to a ton of stuff, but they like drew a red line on Medicare for all. It was like the one issue they would not budge on whatsoever. But we forced a vote anyway on Medicare for all at the platform committee. And I remember at the time, very memorably, there had just been a survey showing that 87% of Democrats support Medicare for all. And I remember Michael Leidy from National Nurses United was a delegate, and he got to the mic and said, if we vote this down, it will be the only room of Democrats in the country that doesn't support Medicare for all. And I think just like you were saying, at the grassroots level, almost everyone supports Medicare for all. Like every single person, even the delegates who are committed to non-Medicare for all candidates. So I remember during the debate, there was a Clinton delegate who got up and spoke very passionately for Medicare for all and spoke about her own healthcare experience and all this other stuff. And then when the vote happened, you can actually see the whips in the corner. So like Clinton had her whips and they were like pointing their thumbs down. We caught it all on video. And this woman who spoke so passionately for Medicare for all voted against it because she was a Clinton delegate and she had been told she has to. So this is unfortunately how politics works in these convention settings. It's like
Oh, so
it's
sad.
very top down, and as a delegate, you're kind of told how to vote on certain issues, not on every issue, but a lot of them, you're whipped, so to speak, which is like the worst phrase we have in American politics.
Yeah, it's really
But yeah,
bad. It's really bad. I think about that every time you say the word whip. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, no, it's pretty bad. But honestly, just sitting here talking to people on the floor, I
yeah,
have
it
not
feels better.
encountered a single person. I have not
Yeah,
encountered a single person who has walked by our booth without stopping, seeing our healthcare is a human right T-shirts, and
yeah.
saying, "That's right, that's exactly it." And then saying, sometimes they'll be like, "Have you heard of Medicare for all?" And I'm like, "No, tell me about it."
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, basically, what happens in these settings is like a room full of Medicare for all supporters votes down a Medicare for all proposal because they've been
No,
told they have to from the top down. But it is inspiring to get to talk to the real people and
it
not.
is.
Yeah. So
Like all like the, whatever. When we think about the Democratic Party, we think about the Clintons and the
mhm,
Obamas and the whatever,
mhm,
the Dianne Feinsteins of the world. But you
mhm.
don't think about like the, kind of the ward committee chair from, like the suburbs outside of Dallas, or like, and those people are awesome. Those people are working hard and they're really doing stuff. So it's great
Yeah,
to be down here with them. Yeah.
yeah, and it also, I think it gives you like a window into how much the Medicare for all movement is winning, and kind of has
Mhm.
won, ex- except for in the political machinery at the top of the country, which of course is where we need to get to. And that's the hardest last stretch. But there is just
Mhm.
a vast chasm between um, our representation and who we actually are as a country. So,
Well, I believe that we are getting there. I mean,
yeah.
it's just like there's been so much heat around Medicare for all, and it's just getting to be very like trendy. It's trending. It's going viral, which is odd because it would actually prevent viruses.
Yeah. And speaking of that, I remember in my time in healthcare now, we had only one viral social media post, I think, in all of my years there.
Mhm.
And it was when again, it was like a Democratic committee, kind of a star-studded committee. It was all like reps and like big names. They
Mhm.
also voted
Mhm.
down Medicare for all. We have this on Healthcare Now's YouTube channel. And Cornel West had like, this was before he was exiled from the Democratic Party. Uh,
Right.
but Cornel West basically frankly called them out. And he's like, okay, we just all had a conversation about supporting universal health care, and now we're voting against it. Um, and I remember we posted that, and it was viewed by millions of people, just because people didn't know what was happening. They did not know that the Democratic Party was voting against universal health care.
Mm,
Um,
mm, mm, mm,
so,
mm,
because
mm.
it's all kind of behind closed doors stuff. But anyway,
Yeah.
that was like 10 years ago. That was 2016. So, real throwback shit at this point. But
Yeah, yeah. Well, we might be headed into that kind of election again, but
mhm,
I don't know. Not if I can help it, Ben. Not if I can
yes.
help
No,
it.
and this is why the Patience Over Profits pledge. We didn't have all that stuff, all those that are really
Yeah.
important electoral campaign work back then. So yeah.
Yep, 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 yep. I have already found one person who is ready to sign the pledge,
Oh,
so I'm pretty
awesome! Nice
excited.
work. Cool.
Shout out to NNU. I'm
Mhm.
doing the work even here. Even here in the convention center. And with that, Ben, I really need to go and eat lunch at the convention
Yes.
center, and it's going to take me approximately 7 years to wait in the line. So, wish me luck.
All right. Well, you can do some organizing in line. But
Yeah,
thanks for giving us live updates. That's very exciting.
I appreciate your appreciation, and I'm really excited because what we have coming up next is an interview with our good friend Aija from People's Action,
Awesome.
who's
All right.
been working on deprivatizing Medicaid, and they are of course based in Austin, Texas. So,
Sweet.
going along with the Texas theme, we have here a little conversation with Aija about Medicaid. Hello, 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 my friends. We are here right now to talk a little bit about Medicaid. As you all know, Medicaid is a real clusterfuck right now. That is the official term that public health scientists use. So we know that the system has never been great, but there was this kind of moment when the Affordable Care Act passed back in 2010, that things actually had started to look a little bit more helpful. The law would expand Medicaid to cover more people who couldn't afford healthcare, which was great. By 2012, the Supreme Court had ruled against the mandate and made expanding Medicaid optional, which meant that red states could continue to fill their ongoing public health mission of keeping poor people safe. So if you fast forward to 2026, today we've got $1 trillion in cuts to Medicaid coming down the line, and Republicans are trying to make up the difference through work requirements that we know are going to take away the health care of millions of people, including a large segment of people who are going to lose health care just because of the bureaucratic chaos that this policy has unleashed. So that's all bad. But what is even worse that you might not know about is that just as the federal government is claiming there's so little money in the system that we need to cut people's benefits, an increasing portion of that Medicaid money is going not to medical care, but to private corporations. So today I've got on the show Austin-based organizer Aija Nemer-Aanerud. Hey, Aija. Hello. We're going to be talking about the big insurance scam to exploit Medicaid for their own gain, how people in this country are fighting back, and what Texas has to teach us about the importance of defending public health care. All of that and more. Maybe just that.
Hell yeah.
Maybe slightly less. Who knows? So let me tell you a little bit.
It's enough, I think.
Very good. If we accomplish that, we'll have accomplished something.
Yeah.
So just to let you know a little bit about Aija. Aija lives in Austin with dogs that like to bark on conference calls. Aija did not provide me with an official bio, so I culled this from my experiences talking to Aija and also from their Facebook page. So we'll see how this goes.
Oh, good.
Everything you want people to know is on the Facebook page.
Updated. Yeah, updated a decade ago.
Fantastic, great. Healthcare for all. Aija is the Healthcare for All campaign director for People's Action, the amazing progressive organization that's chapters all across the nation, including probably one where you live. They started out as an organizer at Student Action in Chicago. Student Action being People's Action's student organizing projects. You've been with People's Action for a minute and a half. They studied. Yes, it's been a minute. They studied political science at the University of Chicago. They are a former guitar instructor, and they might be from Santa Barbara based on where their high school was located. How did I do?
You did pretty well. I'm a little concerned about what you have uncovered. But yeah, guitar instructor is putting a little bit more on it than I can probably claim. But yeah.
Well, it is what you're claiming on your Facebook, so I would go with that.
Okay. Wow.
Fantastic. Well, thank you.
Called out.
Thank you so much for being here. Aija is based in Austin, but working with people all over the country all the time. Aija is one of the busiest people that I know. And so it is a tremendous gift of you to spend some of your time here with me today.
Well, thank you for having me. You're also one of the busiest people I know. So right back at you.
Thanks. I will compensate you later for making it sound like I get things done. I guess busy doesn't really mean that I get things done. Yeah, actually, that was well worked.
Hardest working woman in showbiz. Healthcare
showbiz. Yeah. Okay, fantastic. I'll accept that one. Okay. Before we talk about Medicaid, I do want to talk a little bit about you and how you got into this work. Here at the podcast, we're all about storytelling and like connecting with people through stories. And your story is really interesting. So tell us, how did you go from being a guitar instructor, maybe in Santa Barbara, to living in Austin and helping to lead a national campaign to get healthcare profiteers out of the Medicaid system?
Yeah. Let's see. So you're right. I grew up in Santa Barbara, California. For those of y'all who may not be familiar, I used to describe it as the place where Oprah had one of her main houses, but now it's the place where Prince Harry and Meghan live. So it's like a little bit upped in its fanciness.
That does actually help. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. So yeah, Southern California, it's this really wealthy place on the coast. And I grew up there as a member of a working poor family. Yeah, my grandparents had bought a house there in like the 50s before it got kind of overtaken by money. So yeah, I grew up there. My dad is a janitor, has been a janitor, gardener, doing odd jobs for people for most of his life. Though like really he's an artist, right? But to make money, he's got to do all these
Sure.
things. So grew up with him and my mom, and I got radicalized pretty early on because just living in Santa Barbara without money next to like
Yeah.
what will become the
Yeah.
polo fields of Prince Harry, you're like, okay, there's a big difference here. Um, but then also my mom had cancer, and
Mm.
she got diagnosed. This was when I was really young. She got diagnosed when she was stage 3,
Oh,
and
Jesus.
she had been like complaining of pain and growth and like going in to see a doctor for I think a year or two before they actually listened to her. Like they were like, "Oh yeah, it's a cyst. We're not worried about
Oh,
it."
God. Oh,
Um,
God.
so they could have caught it much earlier, and she could have had a much better chance. And she did end up passing away from it when I was 6, and she was 46.
I'm
Um,
so sorry. That's awful.
Thanks. Yeah, it is. And so like I think that experience is a lot of what brings me into the healthcare work.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like the only reason that we didn't have a bunch of medical debt after she died, as I understand, my dad's not like the most reliable narrator, but um, my
Hi, Dad, if you're
understanding,
listening today.
yeah, I think he would agree. I don't know. Um,
There.
but my understanding is that she got the wrong bone marrow in a transplant, and
Shut the fuck up.
we had a settlement from that, and that's why we didn't have medical debt. That was not why she died, but yeah, crazy healthcare system
Wow.
we have here.
Wow. So you were really like birthed by the shitty healthcare system of America in a place where
Mhm.
you were already experiencing crazy class disparities. That's what I'm
Yep,
picking up.
yep.
Great. So that set you up to understand things.
I mean, yeah, I was like pissed off about capitalism without calling it that at the age of like 10. So yeah.
Fantastic.
um yeah, and
Fantastic.
then I thought I could get away from these disparities. I was like, oh, this is just Santa Barbara. And then I went to the University of Chicago, which is, for those of y'all who might not know, this elite ass institution on the south side of Chicago, surrounded by neighborhoods that have
Also,
been,
oh yeah,
well, Milton
right.
Friedman, if you want to talk about
I
that.
did. I
But
did want to insert Milton Friedman that like, yeah, Chicago, University of Chicago is the kind of epicenter of really shitty economics in this country. But
yes,
please
birthplace of
continue.
neoliberalism. Yeah.
Correct. Yeah. Yeah.
But it's also surrounded by these neighborhoods that have been totally disinvested in for decades and decades. Um, and
Yeah.
so I got there, and it was this weird dissonance of coming there on scholarship and then being like the neighborhoods being told like, don't go past this street, don't go past this street, you're gonna get mugged, whatever, and like these communities aren't safe
Mm-hmm.
for you, when those are more like where I grew up actually. And it was all
Mm-hmm.
very unsettling, and I think all of that is kind of what brought me into organizing.
Yeah, yeah. That is such a it's such a strange experience to end up at like kind of an elite school coming from a not elite background, right? Like you're
Yeah.
constantly confronted with these kind of I'm like, oh God, like the janitor actually seems a lot more like my family than,
Hmm.
the professor. And yeah, like what is my role here? I don't know.
Totally.
Oh
Yeah.
man. But so you actually started organizing in college when you were a student, and you started organizing
Hmm.
with People's Action when you were in college. That's pretty impressive.
Basically, yeah. Yeah, with our affiliate, one of our affiliates in Chicago, the People's Lobby, had a different name back. All those organizations go through different
Sure, of
iterations. This was
course.
like 2010, I think, when I
Mm-hmm.
first got involved.
Mm-hmm.
So, um,
Oh, you're
yeah,
such a
I
baby. Sorry.
Thanks.
Healthcare justice world is pretty old, so Aisha's the youngest person I've talked to in years.
Yeah. um, but so yeah, I've been in the People's Action Network family for like my whole organizing career, basically.
That's amazing. And so you just decided once you were done with college, you were like, fuck this, I'm not leaving organizing to go get a quote unquote real job. I am going to take the quote unquote fake job of organizing.
Once I found out you could like actually get paid to try to fuck up in unjust systems, I was like, oh, that's all right, great. That
Yeah.
doesn't seem like
Yeah.
it should be allowed.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and
The
thankfully it is, right? Like, you know, let's in this collapse of democracy around ourselves, let's be like, no, this is something that you should be able to do. But yeah, just reinforcing that.
How'd you end up in Austin, though? Our theme this week is about Texas activists. The title is going to be Don't Mess with Texans. And I'm including you in that.
Oh, thanks. I've been here almost 8 years now.
Oh, that counts.
Thank you. I appreciate that. You know, I just liked it and I was working remote like so many people and I just moved here.
Oh.
So I'm
Oh.
sorry to everybody whose cost of living I helped raise, but
Oh,
I
yes, right.
appreciate being here.
Austin, for those who don't know, is kind of a bougie hipster city, right? Yeah? Bougie hipsters?
That's an oversimplification, but
Fair?
it
Fair?
is there. We have cool cocktail bars, so make of that what you will.
Lots of avocado toast. That is excellent. Keep Austin weird. Do it, guys. So that is cool. So that's great. So you ended up in Texas, and here you are, and you are now working on this Medicaid campaign after doing many years of organizing on lots of universal healthcare stuff, fighting for Medicare for all. So I want to get into this conversation about the stuff that you guys are doing with Medicaid because it's super duper cool. But I think that there's like one thing that sort of needs to get clarified first, which is that I do think that when most people conceive of Medicaid, right, they're thinking about it as a transactional relationship between people and the government, right? Like we pay the taxes to the government. And if we're people with disabilities or we're down on our economic luck or whatever, or if we've been kept in generational poverty for many years, the government in turn pays our medical expenses. So it's like, I give you my money, you give my money to the doctor. But actually, that is not the case. And I was devastated to learn it. And there's actually sometimes this big insurance company that's standing between you and the government and taking a big chunk of that tax money that was supposed to pay for your health care. So break it down for me. Why is this so? No, sorry. How does it work? And, how do we get here?
Yeah. The why is it so is, I think we're clear on that, right? But, we have a, yeah, exactly.
Fascism, racism.
Elected officials bought by companies, all that good stuff.
There we go. Yeah, good point.
So the how, yeah. So like what you're describing, exactly right. It's a huge scam. Basically, over the last couple decades, this has gotten super widespread across the country to the point where the vast majority of people who are on Medicaid do have an intermediary private insurance company that is administering it. So,
oh my gosh. So this is really common.
Super common.
Yeah.
And I imagine your audience is probably pretty familiar with Medicare Advantage.
Yes, we do discuss the Medicare Advantage and
Medicare
the ways in which it
Disadvantage.
is not an advantage. Exactly.
So this is very similar to Medicare Advantage, right? It's like you've got a government program. The main difference between Medicare and Medicaid is that Medicaid is administered at the state level, right? It is paid for from both federal and state dollars, but it is run by the states. And as you were saying, that means that states that don't care about poor people or actively want them to die don't have to have, good Medicaid programs.
Yay.
Yay.
Mm.
States like Texas, perhaps. But basically, yeah, the insurance companies are just a middleman between the government and your healthcare. They don't provide any service, which is true of all insurance companies. All they are is a middleman,
Yeah.
right? Anywhere.
Right.
Um,
Right.
and
And a
so
care
this
denier, right? Like,
exactly,
so they're
yeah,
making money the same way here that they would in the private market, right?
that's right.
Just by giving as little healthcare as possible. Yeah.
That's right. Because they get paid. Um, I, they get paid um, per person rather than like per amount of healthcare you need or something. So they
I see.
maximize how much money they can keep by minimizing how much care you get. That's right.
Oh my God, I always think about how similar this is to the charter school system,
Mm,
right? Same deal, right? Like taking the taxpayer money, you give it to give a per capita amount to the
yep,
school, and then the school is basically like, oh, well, sorry, we don't actually provide disability
exactly.
services or whatever. So this is the same deal. Great.
Yep. So you see the same things that you do
Ugh.
with all private or privatized health insurance, right? Like limited
Yeah.
provider networks, high rates of care denials, endless red tape to keep you from actually using your insurance, all that kind of
Yes.
stuff.
Yes. Yes. Fantastic.
Hmm.
So I didn't get a lot of sleep last night, so I'm just going to be sarcastically enthusiastic about everything.
Perfect.
That's my mood.
A peek behind the curtain for y'all. Jillian sent me this at like 4:30 in the morning, the notes for this. So I'm a little worried about her, but we're all getting through.
Hey, it's Texas Convention Week, we gotta step it up and other words. So, um, so basically, I mean, it sounds like the way that this is sort of impacting people is sort of twofold, right? So we've got the actual quality of healthcare that they're getting, which is shitty, right? Because they're being provided by this private insurance company whose incentive is to fuck them over instead of actually providing them with healthcare, right?
Mhm.
As opposed to the federal government, which had a mission to protect the public health. God knows what happened with that. But then also, it's like taking taxpayer money in a way that is
Yeah.
pretty shady and
Hmm.
blatant.
Yes. And the kicker is like this whole system of privatized Medicaid, like the way that it got set up and the justification for it was that it was supposed to save the government money, right? It's supposed to save us as taxpayers money.
Oh, because companies do it better, because corporations can
Right.
do it easier and more efficiently than the government,
Exactly.
said Milton
Exactly.
Friedman of the University of Chicago.
What a throwback. Thank
Um,
you.
yeah.
So, and then meanwhile, our friends at Physicians for National Health Program, who I imagine y'all have had on here
Yay.
before, um, they put out this awesome report last year about Medicaid managed care and what a scam it is. And I think we can probably share the link to that for your listeners.
Yeah, absolutely. I can make sure that goes into the show notes.
It's great. But one of the things they found is that if we actually cut out these Medicaid managed care organizations, is what they're called,
Yeah.
the private insurers, we would save $77 billion across the country annually.
Shut up. 77 billion?
Hmm.
Okay, I
Imagine like
actually
how much care that could pay for, right?
I mean, I guess yeah, I always imagine things on the scale of something that I actually buy. So like my iced tea is like
Mm,
3.25, right? So like that's so much iced tea.
it's a lot of iced
Um
tea. Yeah,
um, so like, I guess I had heard you talk about this campaign before, and we also, been trying to support you guys on this and everything. But I don't
appreciate
think I
it.
had ever. Did you notice? You're welcome.
Yep.
No, thank you so much to all of our Healthcare Now activists who have been getting involved with this. This is
For
awesome.
sure.
Yeah, so I guess I'd never heard quite that number before. 77 billion is a lot of IT, a lot of healthcare, and a lot of money that we could be saving. So for both of these reasons, quality of life, quality of healthcare, and also quality of where people are spending our taxpayer dollars, it seems like it would be a really good idea to get these big insurance companies out of the Medicaid business. So you guys are fighting, and you are starting in a few different states. And
Yep.
yeah, where is this idea taking off, and what does the campaign look like right now? What kind of stuff are you all doing?
Yeah, yeah. So I just saw a cardinal land on the bird bath in my backyard. Very exciting. Um,
Oh,
a little
nice.
little aside, a little Texas wildlife. Um,
Just to get the flavor.
yeah, yeah. Okay. So right now the campaign is active actually in 15 states. So it's a good chunky handful.
Yes, it
Um,
is.
and
Especially
we
since it's a
are,
campaign that's only been going on for a year, right? So in a year, you
yeah,
have basically put
less. Yeah.
15 campaigns in 15 different states. That's amazing. Yeah.
Yes. And it's not just us at People's Action. Physicians for a National Health Program, their chapters are running a ton of these campaigns. And then Healthcare for All Minnesota has been like kind of leading the charge on
Yes.
this and started before any of
Shout
the rest of us.
Of course they did, because our good friend Rose Roach, the executive director of the Labor Campaign for Single Payer, is over there, and
Mhm.
she is a firecracker. So
Yes.
yeah, shout out to Rose. Shout out to all our friends from the Physicians for a National Health Program. Shout out to Diljit and Ed and our buddy Ken and our friend Lori and all the other folks who we love over there.
Yes. Yes.
We're all working on this.
Yep. And so a few like little snippets to highlight. In
Mhm.
Minnesota, they actually got their proposal to cut the managed care organizations out of Medicaid into the governor's budget proposal this year.
Heyo.
So that's a big deal. They've been running this campaign for a couple of years. They've been doing lots of great base building work, coalition building, all of that stuff, and a lot of work to fine tune the policy. So, and like we're modeling stuff in other states off of that. So Minnesota's
Amazing.
awesome. Um, Connecticut did this like over a decade ago, I believe. And
Yes.
just to note, in the time since, they have saved a ton of money for the state. They have I think 33% more providers actually accepting Medicaid because there's less
Hmm.
red tape for them to deal with, so they can actually, afford administratively to do that. And they have improved cancer survival rates. Um,
Really?
yeah. So that's awesome and also makes it extra horrible that we could have that, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's
And
very
don't.
tantalizing, right? When you
Yeah.
see people doing it and you're like, yeah. For those.
Tantalizing and just like it's such a, like people could
Mhm.
literally I think it's easy for us when we work in this stuff to get like a little bit numbed out sometimes to the human impact, but like
Yeah.
everything
Yeah.
about
Yeah.
Medicaid is so much of it is life and death, right? And like people's
Yeah.
dignity and ability to, live a good life. Like there's so much on the line.
You're so right. You're so right. And like, folks who are in like economically precarious situations already, folks who are living with disabilities and chronic health, right? We're already living on the edge, right? We're
Yeah.
already right on the edge in this world. And so, yeah, any losing your Medicaid for a month, right? Just due to
Hmm.
an administrative error, the churn or
Yep.
whatever they call it, right? That could actually, I mean, that could mean, the end of your family line. Like that's
Yeah. Yeah.
just devastating, devastating. I did
Yeah.
also want to mention, though, for our longtime viewers, that if you haven't yet, you should check out our episode "Medicaid Privatization Smackdown in Connecticut,"
Mm,
and we had on Sheldon Tubeman, who was
nice.
the gentleman who was the architect of that policy, who you, I believe, have been working with. Yeah,
Yes, he's a great resource on all this stuff for
he's
sure.
He's pretty awesome. I don't think he understood any of my professional wrestling jokes because,
Mm,
Connecticut
well,
owns WWE, but whatever.
we all have growth edges.
Good point. Good point. So that's awesome. So we've got folks in Minnesota, folks in all different places all over the country who are doing this. They are doing what, like talking to legislators at this point and trying to get talking to ordinary people, talking to get them on
Hmm.
their side. Hmm.
Yeah, yeah. So one of our affiliates, Progressive Maryland, they built out this awesome campaign over the last several months where they built out leadership core teams, right? They're I think probably about 15 folks who are all, volunteer leaders running this campaign. Um, doing the work of bringing more people in, like canvassing, phone banking, text banking about this, putting out petitions, meeting with and bringing in like new coalition partners, meeting with legislators, yeah, all that kind of stuff. In
Mm.
Ohio, so like most states are out of their legislative sessions by this time of year. Ohio is still
Sure.
in,
Yeah.
and the
Mm.
PNHP chapter there has gotten some hearings for their bill, so they're doing awesome stuff. Um, yeah, it's like kind of a classic organizing advocacy campaign, and it's something that we're seeing a lot of enthusiasm around, like in our affiliate in West Virginia
Yeah.
Citizen Action Group. West Virginia is like pretty red place.
Sure.
um, they have a lot of similar narratives that they butt up against to what we do in Texas,
Yes.
and
Yes.
they've been getting a lot of positive responses of people being like, oh, this is totally common sense. Why would we be giving money to these companies to do nothing for us when we
You know,
really need this money?
yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's kind of what I was thinking about the whole time is that like, Dogecoin is really in. It's the official aesthetic
Mm.
of MAGA. So really what y'all are doing is like doging Medicaid, right?
I wouldn't use those words, but you can.
That's great. I'll do it for you. So does that mean that you've been receiving some like positive reception from folks on other side of the aisle, or are Republicans who normally wouldn't be interested in what, the healthcare for all organizer at People's Action has to say, listen a little bit
Totally.
better? Yeah.
Totally. Yeah, and it is from that angle of like cutting out kind of the waste, the abuse, blah blah blah. When Republicans say that, they're usually talking about individuals, but really the
Correct.
source of fraud and waste and abuse is these companies in our healthcare system.
Yes.
Um, and y'all probably saw some of this stuff in the like ACA, EPTC, expanded something tax credit. Um, the reason why a lot
Audio
of
editor Craig, if you could just edit in on us saying the correct words right there. Thank you.
expanded premium tax credit, I don't know.
I believe it is expanded premium tax credit. Yeah, I think
Thank
that's
you.
right.
So anyway, this is the reason, this not getting renewed is the reason why a lot of people's premiums have gone up in huge
These
ways.
these are like what other people might refer to as like ACA subsidies, subsidies or whatever. If you heard about those on the news, that's what they were talking about.
But we saw in the fight about whether to renew those, Republicans, like Republican members of Congress, actually repeating our talking points about the insurance companies, but using it against the ACA, saying like, why would we give more money to these insurance companies that are just wasting money? We're like, you're almost there, actually.
Oh my God. Wait, hold up. We literally said that to them. When was it? Oh, when we were fighting to make the ACA not be a fucking dump truck of money driven up to the doors of the insurance companies.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And yet, it is getting a lot of people healthcare, which is really important. And also it's giving a lot of money to these insurance companies, and it's entrenching them, and it is what it is. So
yeah, no, it's the best and the worst all at the same time. Yeah.
But point being that these talking points about like the reality of insurance companies being a waste of money are really resonant across the board.
Yeah, that is that's really good to hear. I mean, people have to wake up at some point and realize that you can't continue to call it the best healthcare in the world, which so many politicians love to. We have the best healthcare in the world here. When people, the average person has such a cataclysmically bad experience with their insurer and everything else. So if folks who are here listening, I mean, I know we don't have a Medicaid campaign here in Texas yet, but if folks that are listening and they're thinking, gosh, I would really like to get involved with something like that in my state, or maybe I'd like to start something like that in my state if it hasn't been started already, how can those folks get involved?
Would you advise against or for me giving out my email on this podcast?
Mostly against.
So we've got a website.
Yeah. How about that? How about we do it that way? Yeah, we'll definitely put the link to the website in the notes. But what's the website called again?
Um, well, so there's PNHP has a really good report on this on their website,
Mm-hmm.
which is, I don't know. Uh,
pnhp.org.
Great. I'm glad you knew. And then I'm not sure we actually have a lot on our website, the People's Action website, about this campaign right now. But if you go to peoplesaction.org, there
Mhm.
definitely are like get in touch forms that you can fill out and they'll get over to me.
That is absolutely fantastic. Yeah. I mean, for people who haven't like organized before, right? The beginning stages of a campaign are the stages that, if we were, workers in a workplace trying to organize our own union or something, right? This is the part we would be doing secretly, right? Before the boss finds out so that we can build our power before we take on the world.
Mhm.
Um, but instead, I'm asking you to talk about it publicly, and that's great too.
I mean, we're
So
being public about this. It's not a secret. It's really not a secret, like that
yeah.
we're coming after these insurance companies for the terrible things they're doing to people. At People's Action, we were running a campaign the last couple of years focused on United Health and all of the ways they're doing all of these things across many types of health insurance, across pharma, across like every part of the healthcare system that they're chomping up. So,
Yeah, yeah. When they see people's action, they see fear, which is exactly what we want.
thank you. Yeah.
Um, healthy fear. So, all right. So you give me so much of your time today, and I know I promised I would let you go, but just right before we go,
Yeah. Yeah.
again, our theme here is Texas, right? Texas progressive activism, and so I want to know. We are both professional organizers working for
Mhm.
national organizations on progressive campaigns for universal health care while living in the state with the worst healthcare in the country.
Yeah.
So it feels to me like a niche perspective. I don't know. I wondered what you had kind of taken away from this experience, right? Like, what lessons about healthcare in America did have you picked up from experiencing healthcare in Texas, and what should folks in other states be learning about healthcare policy from the way that we do healthcare or don't do healthcare here?
Yeah. These are good questions. I mean, I think the biggest thing that I have learned since moving here is just um, what it feels like to be in a state where the majority, like the governing party, that like really doesn't want you to live and doesn't want the people you care about
Yes.
to live. Before this, I lived in California, Illinois, DC. Um, and when Democrats say that they care about you, that's not necessarily true. Sometimes it's true, often it's
Hmm.
not true.
Hmm.
This is what politics is. But it really makes a difference when they're at least pretending, is something I have learned. And there's just so many people in the state of Texas and in, so much of the South that have been abandoned by their government. And
Hmm. Hmm.
um, I think thinking about our organizing nationally and in different places around the country, including in blue places, like how do we protect people who are vulnerable? How do we create opportunities for them to be organizing and more powerfully? I think is really important. Like we can't be leaving people behind. I think is probably the
Yeah.
biggest thing.
That is so important, right? Like, I mean, when we're trying to build a movement that's all about making sure that people don't get left behind in their healthcare, we also cannot leave people behind
Yeah,
in our organizing. Yeah, that
yeah,
is a really
and
powerful lesson.
yeah, and like I mean, I your audience probably doesn't know this. I'm trans and I'm living in Texas, and um, we have seen just so many attacks on trans healthcare in the last couple years, and they're just, I
Yeah.
think, going to be getting worse and worse. Like right now, it's mainly on children, which is awful. Like that is going to kill people.
Yeah.
But I am positive that they're going to expand that to adults, and um, yeah, just making sure that we are taking care of each other as we're fighting, I think is really important.
That's another really great Texas lesson, and something that Texas progressives are really fucking good at. Really fucking good at. You know, if I called my buddies right now and told them that there were some Republicans down the street, they would come and have their shotguns ready.
I know you're serious.
for defense purposes. Purposes. But yeah, no, I mean, but I love that about Texas, like that feeling that people
same.
are willing to get in the mud together and really just fucking help to drag each other out. I love that. It's awesome. Lovely, lovely, lovely. Well, we wish you and your campaign only the best. And we will be offering folks as many opportunities as possible to plug into that campaign through Healthcare Now, as well as, of course, you can go visit People's Action, Physicians for a National Health Program. Hello again, Ken. I knew we'd get you to listen to the podcast somehow. All right. So before we go, I do have to thank our podcast team, especially our audio editor, Craig Stanton. He is the one who makes us sound somewhat articulate. You got to remember to like, subscribe, and comment and share with your friends. This podcast is a project of the Healthcare Now Education Fund, and you can support the pod by going to www.healthcare-now.org and clicking on the donate tab to send us some love in the form of money. Money, love, healthcare. Thank you so much, Aija. Goodbye, everyone.
Thank you for having me. Thanks for listening, y'all.
Stay safe and stay dangerous, y'all.